need to see that.
The kid doesn't need to know.
The kid don't need to know that we ain't got money this week to do certain things. You just got to figure something else out this week. They don't need to know that, because that you don't want to give them the impression that the situation they're in, even though it's not a normal family situation, you got to make the situation as normal to them as possible. Mm-hmm. So you find somebody else to vent to about your bills. Correct. You find someone else to vent to about, you can't believe that there's no good joker left you in this situation, or you can't believe that she ran off and left you with the kids. You got to find somebody else. You can't discuss that stuff in front of them. You got to keep it as normal as possible. That's right. For them. That's right. So the single parent has to find somebody that they can talk to.
They have to find someone they can talk to.
Right.
And it has to be someone that you trust.
Right.
It can't just be anybody, because sometimes you'll vent to people and they'll make your situation worse than what it already is. So that's why you have to be careful who you're talking to and venting to, because everybody doesn't have your best interest at heart, unfortunately.
Right.
They want to hear your drama, but they ain't going to do nothing to help you through the drama, besides go tell somebody else.
Right. And so another thing a single parent has to deal with is they have to find someone who can hold them up. Mm-hmm. Who could I go and lean on like this? Who could I lean on, and who can hold me up like this, you know? And one example we found was the example of when Moses stood on top of the cliff, over the people of Israel as they were fighting over Joshua and his army, and he had Aaron and Hur there to hold him up. So when his arms got tired, he had somebody to lean on to keep his arms held up, because as long as his arms was held up, they were winning. But as soon as his arms began to fall, they started losing. And so the other two fellows, Aaron and Hur, began to hold him up. So maybe you need to find you two people who can hold you up. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes one of them may be going through themselves and they don't have time to listen to your problem. They want you to listen to theirs.
That's right.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because relationships have to be all about reciprocity, man. And God has been dealing with me heavily on this, that people who have no honor, leave them alone.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. People who you honor in their time of need but can't honor you or celebrate you, leave them jokers where they are.
That's right.
Because you wear yourself out pouring into them, but when it comes down to them pouring back into you, there's nothing to give. Mm-hmm. So you got to find you some people who are really going to hold you up, and people you can hold up. Amen. Mm-hmm.
A single parent needs someone who can counsel and mentor them. They need someone, and preferably somebody of the same sex.
Right.
You know, because you don't want to get yourself in another situation with it being someone of the opposite sex.
Right. Because
a man may not understand what you're going through as a single parent like another woman would.
Right, but what about the child, though? The single parent needs somebody who can help them with that child, correct, too. And so, preferably, you want to find somebody of the same sex that child is.
Correct.
Because if you're a single parent mother and you're raising boys, you can't bring in strong Betty. She may be strong, and she may be strong for you to lean on, but they can't identify with Betty because Betty is of another anatomical nature. Amen. So she has another anatomy going on. You need to bring somebody of that same anatomy in here that they can identify with. And watch this. Wouldn't this be sweet if it was a person who went through the same situation they went through? That's a bonus. Not only is it if you got a daughter and you're a man and you're raising your daughter and you don't have another woman around, not only would it be sweet to find a woman who can help undergird you, but what if it was a woman who had the same experience who can really minister to that child?
That's right.
Children need ministry.
That's right.
Oh, we can't overlook them. Kids need ministry just like we adults need ministry.
That's right.
Amen. And so that's a bonus. And so you have to find somebody who is of the same sex that you can lean on, who you can identify with, and also for the child. You know, you don't want to bring in a woman for a boy. It's not going to work. You got to find a man of great insight and a man of great integrity to teach and train that young person.
That's right. And, you know, it may not be that you find one person with all these qualities. You know, you may have to find one person has one quality and another person has another quality. That's right. So it may not just be one person that you find to give you this counsel or the mentor. You may have to have two different people.
Right.
Or three. Because, you know, you may have one that's good at listening to you, one that's good at giving you advice.
Right.
one that's going to be there to make you laugh when you need a laugh.
Right.
You know, you may not be able to get that all in one person, but if you can find 2 or 3 who have the qualities that you need in a friend, that's good.
Right.
I mean, that's a good thing, even though it's not the same person.
Because ultimately, it's about victory overall. However we can get victory, man, let's get it.
Amen.
However we can win, let's win.
Let's
you know
win.
what I mean? But that's definitely something that we want to focus on, and I encourage a single parent family to do. Now, let's talk about this blended family thing.
Blended.
Oh man, a blended family. A blended family is also known as a step family. And this consists of parents who come into a marriage with children from previous relationships. Oh God. And living in a blended family is a rocky road and a roller coaster ride, because you have these 2 families with 2 different ideas and 2 different upbringings trying to come together and live under one house. Mm-hmm. Ooh man, I know a little bit about the traditional family and the blended family. I have the privilege of working in both and dealing with both. And the one thing about a blended family is, a blended family, the 2 parents or the 2 adults or what have you, the 2 people in a relationship, the 2 parents, they have their expectations for the family. And so the children have their expectations. And so you may have been in a family where at first the one family, it may have been tradition in the house that by 9 o'clock, everything shut off in my house. Don't nobody talk on the phone. Don't nobody do nothing. We're getting prepared for the next work day or the next school day or what have you. Well, this other family, they may have been allowed to stay up late as they want to. And so now you got one parent that's like, hey, why are your kids still up? And that's another problem. Why your kids? Why your kids still up? Here it is 11:30, 12 o'clock on a school night. Why they still up? Well, you know, I just kind of let them go until they pass out. Then I've always wondered why their grades are horrible, but hey, I just let them go. And so you have these 2 different expectations. Hold on, my expectation for the house is that the adults work and the children take care of the chores around the house. Because I'm not going to work and clean up the dishes and clean up the house and the kitchen too. But why is it that your kids don't understand it when it's their week to wash dishes? Well, it's because I did everything. I just let my kids just kind of have their thing and do what they want to do. Let kids be kids. I'm going to work. I'm going to prepare the meal. I'm going to clean the house. I'm going to do all that. And so the problem becomes that these blended families are not blending, they're rescinding. They're not blending, they're rescinding. They're going backwards now. Instead of them meshing together, instead of them coming together, you know, you got them doing this like a magnet. You try to put a magnet together, 2 magnets, and they just don't work. You're trying to force it in. They pop out. I almost hit you. Hey, man, first time I ever hit her in my life. Hey, man, I swear, y'all. Don't stop this. Hey, man, you all right? Y'all knock your glass. You know how I talk with my hands. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I kiss it to make it feel better later. Amen. And so they're not blending, they're rescinding. And so watch this. One parent may be harder on the other's children, or watch this. One parent may try to win the approval of the other's children and in the process neglect their own.
That's right.
I've seen that happen before. Mm-hmm. Either they are harder on the other's child than they are on their own, or they go overboard to win the approval of the other child and neglect their child in the process. And that's hurtful and that's painful.
Amen.
Another common problem is the children's other biological parent may be still in the picture and may cause trouble, which makes the blending process even more stressful.
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes in a blended family, the non-biological children will be disrespectful of the non-biological parent. And when this happens, the spouse must step up and say, listen, you're not going to disrespect my wife. You're not going to disrespect my husband.